This talk is titled Fantastic Config Formats and Where to Find Them. It's a blatant rip-off of the latest Harry Potter film, but I wanted to try and find a way to make what could be potentially a very boring talk and then try and spice it up a bit. So let me know if it works afterwards. A bit about me. So hello, I'm Thomas. I'm a dog person, and on the right, you can actually see a picture of one of the puppies I'm going to be getting soon in December, which is really exciting. So hopefully I can bring that to codebar at some point when things get back to normal. I drink probably a little bit too much coffee, and I still like teddy bears, even though I'm 26 and I'm probably a bit too old for that. But I work as a software engineer. I've been working as a software engineer for about 4 years. I work at a company called Near Street, where our mission is to connect every line of inventory in every shop to the internet, so you can find any product near to you without buying it online. We build it all using Node.js. We do lots of data engineering and analytics work, trying to get insights out of all the data we've got, and we use Amazon Web Services. So config formats. What is a config format? Config format is just a way to control how an app and control and specify how an application works in some way. There are a couple of things that make a config format good, and that's why there's different ones. So for a config format to be good, it needs to be easy for human beings, like all of us, to edit. It needs to be simple for computers to read. It also needs to be able to express lots of different data structures, and it needs to be easy to deploy. So the last one there, easy to deploy, is why most config formats are just text files, and they're easy to take from your local computer, send them to other people, put them onto a server. We've done that for so many years now, we're actually pretty good at it. But the rest, they're not quite so easy because they're a little bit more subjective. So first config format we're going to cover is JSON, JavaScript, object notation. And here's where, bring it back to Fantastic Beasts, I've decided JSON is a little bit like the Niffler because it really likes shiny things. Like JavaScript developers, we like our shiny things, I can tell you that. So JSON is made up of squiggly or curly brackets, depending on what type of person you are. I'm a squiggly bracket person. I've had lots of complaints that I call them that, but I'm not going to stop. And then you can have quote marks around the text with a name. And then on the right-hand side here, you can see, right-hand side, let's go back. Let's get the pointer up. There we go, that's better. So on the left-hand side, you can see the key name. So this describes what it's about. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the value. This is really commonly found in JavaScript projects, especially the most common one is the package JSON format that specifies your project and contains the information about it. It's really good when the config is quite simple and can be clearly explained elsewhere, because there are a couple of flaws, like it can't have comments, and it can get quite complicated somewhere and hard to read. Like this example here, and there's actually a mistake here. I left a trailing comma in by accident, and that means the config isn't valid and won't work. XML. So XML is like the Dairy call, a vanishing bird, the dodo, contains these elements here with brackets around, and they describe what it's about, and then you have the content inside it. XML is kind of uncommon now, but it's really only seen by Java developers in projects like Maven. It was actually probably the earliest config format, specified in 1998, which is nearly as old as I am, which is pretty bonkers to think that we're still not that great with computers, but they've been around for so long. So YAML, YAML stands for YAML Aim to Markup Language, which is really confusing because if you think about that, it goes on forever because like YAML Aim to Markup Language, but then the first bit can also be expanded out, which I think the people specifying it had some fun with. There's a creature in Fantastic Beasts called a rumpment, which are super scary. I work quite a lot with YAML, and it is quite complicated. So there are a few gotchas, and like that, rumpments are like a massive rhino, but they can also spray like a venom out that makes people explode. YAML has a tendency to make things explode because, like you can see here, there are weird kind of spacing things like in Python code. And if you get one of those wrong, then the object is invalid. It'll fail to pass, and the service you're trying to deploy with it, like probably one of those microservices really commonly used with those, will go kaboom and it won't work anymore, which can be really infuriating. There's also some other weird gotchas. So if, like here, you see you don't need quote marks around these, and they're just text strings. But if you put the value yes or no there, YAML will go, oh, that looks like a Boolean to me, and turn it into true or false in your application code, which is another common source of pain and errors. But again, it's pretty easy to read, and computers, while they struggle to parse it, it can be used to express quite complicated structures like we can see here. And the final config format is TOML. TOML stands for Tom's Obvious Minimal Language. It's my favorite config format of all, not just because it's named after me, obviously. It's not actually named after me. There's a guy who founded GitHub, created this config format, and it's pretty nice. It's nice because it can have comments in, unlike JSON. It's got like categories. So you can, these square brackets with a name inside, and that creates an object which groups things, which can be really nice. Like here we've got this category called other features, and can have multi-line strings. I decided this was like a moon calf just because they're super cute. It's got great big eyes. And yep, this is much simpler to read. You can express most data structures with it. It's not quite as good as YAML, but it's expressing complicated things, but for simple things, it's much better. And again, as a human editing this, it's a bit easier because I've got these sections which YAML doesn't have, which is really nice. So that's it. This was a super short lightning talk, so thank you very much. I hope I didn't take too much time. 5 minutes is not actually as much time as I thought. And so thank you all for watching, and thank you to everyone involved in organizing codebar. Any questions about config formats, if we've got time for that?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Am I waiting here for comments, or? I see the comment in the chat that says they thought TOML was a joke. I wish it was true. Can you imagine naming a config format after yourself?
Well, actually, at first, I thought it was named after you as well. And I thought it was a joke.
Thank you, Leah.
But yeah, thank you very much. I think people really enjoyed your comparison to the Fantastic Beasts store in the comments. Yeah, thank you.